Good evening. Tonight I am here to talk about Topline Baits. I know. I cannot wait to read all the comments of people griping about how they can't get them and how rare they are and how it sucks that I constantly show them off when people can't get them. But you know what? I'm going to show you some Topline Baits anyways because I don't like your negativity. So anyway, Adam was kind enough, by proxy of Justin at the New York show, to get me some of his awesome baits to chuck around in 24. I've got some newer models here. Obviously, I'll be throwing the dipsticks that I chucked and had a ton of success with last year. I'll be throwing those plenty. I've got a couple of his mini dipsticks that I plan, or small dipsticks. I don't know what he calls the smallest version. He's got the minis and the regs and then the XLs and then the XXL. Anyway, neither here nor there. But I'll be throwing those some in the spring. But I've got some other offerings down here that are new to me, unique to the musky game, and I'm really excited to chuck and throw around. So I don't even know where to start. These are all so cool. So I guess we could kind of go small to large, I suppose. So this first one is just an absolute, just such a cool twitch bait. It's about like a 6.5 inch, 7 inch profile. It's just a hair bigger than my Soul Searchers. Probably about the same size as my SRJs, if you don't account for the tail. That tail's a little bit longer, but just a really awesome walleye sucker bait fish type pattern. I mean, this thing will crush anywhere, everywhere, in the spring, in the fall. I mean, this thing is it's just cool. The profile is awesome. The weighting is exceptional. I like that Adam puts the spot so you always know where it's coming in and you can track it better in the figure 8. So that's why he does that. But just a lot. It's going to be throwing a ton of flash. Some of these I don't really know the dive curves on, so that'll take a little bit of experimentation on my part, but oh darn, I'll have to find a reason to chuck his baits around more. Shoot. Anyway, so that's the first one. That's the twitch, and a new to me twitch that I'll be very excited to throw. It's actually like really perfect because like this thing is just a hair bit bigger than the Soul Searcher and a hair's bit smaller than the ridges that I normally throw. So like, it fills a really good niche for me personally, especially within that forage base. Like Wisconsin type forage, I mean, it'll work anywhere for any size of fish, but for our fish here, for the fish I fish for in Wisconsin, I mean, that profile is really hard to beat. All right, running down the next one here, we've got another kind of twitch crank style lure. So this one is kind of a shad based pattern. Got a lot of flash, a lot of shimmy, pretty narrow profile on this guy, but again, I don't think that that's a bad thing necessarily. I know that Adam and I were talking, and he more or less kind of took to heart what I was telling him in terms of a lot of the cover that we fish around here. So I told him in Iowa there's a fair amount of lakes that I fish that have standing timber, that have a lot of logs and stuff, and you know, he wanted to get me a bait that would get down to those trees, down to those logs, and kind of bounce off of them without getting snagged, without getting hung up. So I'm guessing that this was the offering that he sent me meant to fill that niche. So this will be really good at getting down, you know, to that edge of light that Herbeck talks about, and getting down to, you know, maybe a presentation, at least casting wise, where those fish aren't necessarily seeing that bait and that profile in that depth range. So yeah, I'll definitely have my lure retriever with me on that one. I suppose we will continue here with a regular dipstick. Thank you, Justin, for picking out this color. It is an absolute crushable, just super cool crappie pattern. It will do amazing things in the spring. I cannot wait to throw this thing. It just looks awesome. Get some hooks on these guys and just get them out there, get them rolling. Just a super cool bait. You know, he does such a good job with all of the paint. I mean, all of his baits are just straight up works of art. I think that's probably why people get pretty sore when they can't get them, because they just look so good. and not only do they look good, they work phenomenally well. Come on and get out of there. Get. Why are you like this right now? All right, the last one that Adam sent me via Justin that I'm probably most excited for out of this list, because it's just like something that fills a really unique niche. It's a great pattern. It's a great bait. This is his larger version of the Twitch in kind of a citrus shad pattern. Just super cool. I mean, how do you, yeah. There's some times here in the warmer water periods where, you know, you have those algae blooms in Wisconsin, where the, you know, kind of in that fall transition where that water gets kind of a green tinge to it. You know, this is going to be a pattern that I will lean heavily on during that time. And I like too that the profile is slimmer than the ridge, so it's going to give them something a little bit different to look at, but also, you know, there's no knock, there's no serious noise in there, so it makes it a lot more subtle despite it being a larger profile bait. Like, you know, I would compare this profile to that of maybe like a 10-inch Jake or a 9-inch Grandma. Obviously it's got a little bit more hump to it. It's a little bit different in the way that it looks than those lures. However, you know, it's going to be a little bit more subtle because there's no knock, there's no rattle, there's no internal noise to it. So some people may like that, some people may not, but at the end of the day, it's going to be something that's different for me to throw, that has kind of a different profile than a lot of those standard baits. And I mean, that's really why I like baits like Adam's. That's why I like, you know, the buckhorn stuff, the Dadsons, the Ridgways, all of these different types of baits that I throw, Buckos baits that are just a little bit different than the standard mainline stuff. And sometimes they suck to throw. You know, I'm guessing like Adam's stuff is like this isn't going to be bad. Throwing a Ridgway all day isn't necessarily the most fun thing to do, but is it super effective? Absolutely. You know, like throwing one of Bucko's big baits, like, is that super fun to do all day? Not necessarily, but does it call in big fish? Yeah, I mean, a lot of these baits are that way. Is it necessarily fun to be ripping, you know, a Dipstick XL as hard as you can like you're ripping rubber? Not necessarily, but does it call in giant fish? Absolutely it does. So it's just some of those things that you've got to kind of weigh the cost v benefit of. And Connor and I have an interesting little wager with this one that he commented when I posted a picture of these on my socials when I received them, and he asked if he could have this one if my PB gets broken again in his boat, and I said yes. That's an easy deal to make. So there's a little skin in the game for Connor. He's gonna have a little bit of work to do to make that PB thing happen again. But knowing my luck, I'll probably like go to Minnesota with him and bust it in the first day, and then have to hand over this thing and not even get a chance to fish it in the fall. But whatever, it'll be fine. Honestly, if that happens, it would be like the funniest thing of all time. So fortunately, I know a guy, and I think Adam would. I think he would laugh if that actually happened, because I know that I would. So anyway, that's the top line lineup for this coming season. I'm really looking forward to throwing all of those. I hope people are kind of enjoying the lives, as I've tried to do more of that and talk to more people and just put a different form of content out there that maybe not as many musky guys are doing, or at least in the way that I'm doing it. I suppose if you want a format similar to that, there's plenty of podcasts to listen to, but at the same time, it's just something that I think is kind of fun to do and a little bit different. So as always, if you have any questions about the baits, bait makers, how to get them, where to get them, you know, what I'm throwing where and why, please shoot me a message. I'll be glad to answer any and all questions. Like I said, Adam's stuff is it's just top notch. I just cannot say it enough. You know, out of these baits, I don't even know which one I would be most excited to throw around, because they're all just going to have a real special place, special role to fill, and they're just all really cool. So can't thank Adam enough. Can't thank all the bait makers that I work with enough. You know, 24 is looking like it's going to be a lot of fun. So as always, I appreciate everyone's support. I cannot thank people enough for watching the tackle talks. If you like them, let me know. If you've got questions, please shoot them my way. But with that being said, good luck in 24, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.